Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special edition of Hellmore Radio. We have a number of people from the incredible record label Nu Kvlture here on the show today to promo the new compilation that's been put together with a shitload of incredible artists. But the man that's pulled it all together is my boy, Noizy Wilson. He's joining us live along with a number of the other guys that have that he's included on the compilation. So without further ado, I'm going to pass over to Noizy, give you a background on what this compilation is. Some of the guys are going to talk about the tracks. We're going to see where this goes. Let's get into it. Gentlemen, welcome. Nice to see you all.
Welcome.
Noizy Wilson, over to you, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. So for everyone who has watched the previous interview, you basically got the idea of what I'm all about, individually as a producer and also as a record label owner. So regarding this compilation, it's the next chapter of the Nu Kvlture, which will have a lot of BPMs, a lot of genres within the bass and breaks. And right here, we have some of the guys which tracks are included in this compilation. So you will hear some drum and bass, you will have some breakbeat, you will have some dubstep, and also some garage as well. So I built Nu Kvlture basically to fight the elitism, to help my friends, to meet new people, just to be chill and share the music that I love, with the world. So basically regarding this chapter, the guys that we have right here, first of all, I'm going with Leo, because when I'm looking at the track list in my head about the compilation, Leo comes first after mine. He made a fantastic breakbeat, atmospheric shit that I liked at the first when he sent me, and this is also his first official release, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
So first official release got the attention of many DJs, played at many radios. You will help me out with that later, because
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. It got played a lot. Yeah, and it has some cool humming sounds. Yeah, some phrases also. It's pretty cool, to play it around 3 a.m., when the need to cool off things and, spice it up a bit. So I really, really love that track. So I'll pass it to Leo to tell us a little bit about more of the process, how he made it, what were the inspiration, and a background about you. So.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Leo. So as Axonberg, I'm a French producer and DJ from Lyon. I'm part of a crew and a label. I never released the music on it, but it's Polar. I don't know if you heard about it. It's a bass music label founded by Flor. And for the record, she released an album last year called Rituals, and got remixed by Walton, Hodge, Lucy, Azuti Walin, and Dida Abdelwahed. So it's a really very talented artist, and she's like my mentor in this bass music, in all the bass music crew in Lyon. So this track, I've been mainly focused on DJing for 10 years, and of all the bass music spectrum, so mainly UK bass through Swamp 81, Liberty Sound, Time Dance, all this stuff. And lately, around the last 3-4 years, maybe more, I'm really focused on jungle, also deep dubstep, and including rap, mainly French rap, into my mixes. I've been doing monthly mixes for 2 years now, and I've had the opportunity to do some radio shows. So for Hugo, Bobby Lasers on Sub FM, on the Grit in Poland, and the big one was thanks to Flo, the Polar show. She has a show on Reims, France, so the French part of Reims FM, and I got my first radio show on Polar on Reims in October. So it was really a huge achievement for me, and I'm really proud of it. So it's really a good card for me. And about producing, I've been producing, I don't know, since for 5-6 years, but I'm really a noob about it. I'm on FL Studio, and I think I use 1% of the capacity of the software, and I'm mainly focused on I don't know if it's an English word, collage of samples. I'm not really a composer. I don't know how to do a melody, but I like finding a lot of samples and finding the good one and match it with the spirit I have in mind. So for this tune called Nexus, it's a UK-based breakbeat track with a dark atmosphere, as Alexander said, and it's a lot of some samples from the special request sample pack, some from Benton sample pack. The vocal, which is really dark, is I think it's from an ambient 90s ambient sample pack. I found whatever I don't know, but yeah, that's about it. And I'm really proud because it's the first time I release a proper track. And this year I'm aiming to really give it a go, because I've been accepted in a small academy for producers and DJ in Lyon, which is run by a label called Naqs, which is a techno label. And we are like 20 producers and DJ, and we are gonna have 15 masterclasses during the year with a lot of artists. So it's masterclasses about DJing, producing, mixing, mastering, carry management. It's a really awesome opportunity, and I started this in November. So I'm gonna have, for example, master classes about the use of vocal in techno by Louisa, which was released on Zone, etc. So it's a really cool opportunity. I hope to level up in the producing game and be able to release more stuff. I'm working on 1 or 2 tracks at the moment, which are in the same style of breakbeat, and one more based up jungle track with a lot of samples of kalimba, which I hope to make it clear. So yeah, that's my my focus on
That's awesome.
on the next month, and I'm really proud to release a track on this compilation. The compilation is really awesome. It's, as he said, it's really the whole bass music spectrum, and I think it's gonna kick really hard. Yeah.
Definitely gonna kick really hard, and really happy to hear this recent news, from you. So I'll definitely call you for some tricks and tips, regarding producing.
Okay.
But what's important for me when I picked up your track, we met actually because of his mixes. He played one of the first Nu Kvlture material, on the SoundCloud, and I accidentally find it, just typing on the SoundCloud. And I reached out to him the same way I did with you, Helmore. So we just started talking. I asked him always like, hey, do you have, some production going on? And actually, Leo was one of the first guys who ever sent me like the full project and stuff like that. And I started promoting that, back in July, something like that, when I only had like 5 tracks. So yeah, one of the first guys, who was there for sure. So, Helmore, do you maybe have any questions for Leo, or I can, continue?
No, I think that's a fucking great introduction to yourself, Leo. That's a really, really nice overview. It covers a lot of ground, and it's really, really exciting to. It's a really, really exciting time for yourself as a producer. The next year, couple of years, I think the output. I don't want to say the quality is going to increase, but it sounds like it's gonna. I think you're going to learn a lot over the next couple of years, and that's really, really exciting, dude. So yeah, really stoked to to be on the compilation with you. That's badass.
Thank you.
That's pretty awesome. So I will talk at the end about my tracks and about our collab, Kieran. And for now, I would like you guys to meet the main Bronson guy here, who creates incredible jump up as well as the UK funky stuff. Amazing DJ and also better human being with a great metal background. We have Robbie the Mook. So Robbie, please tell us a little bit about how you started producing and what inspired this track on the compilation.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been interested in production since I was a kid, and I've tried kind of many times to kind of get into it. Like I've been a massive hip hop head since I was like 12. I've just been obsessed with hip hop, kind of all types. And I got some decks when I was like 13 or something, and I just never had the discipline to really go for it. Like I spent a while on some. I had this EJ mix CD producer, which was like almost like Audacity. It was just really basic, and I remember like I looped the intro to Fame by David Bowie and put like a G Unit a cappella on it, and like I remember that was the one thing I did like in that period of time where I was messing about that actually sounded good. And what I really enjoyed back then was making like mixes. Like for my mum and dad, I would make like a mix CD, but I would blend the beginning and end of like reggae and like old rock tunes and stuff. And so like later on, I tried with Fruity Loops to make hip hop beats again, and I made like one that was okay. And again, just didn't have discipline or that kind of real drive to do it. Found it was a bit fiddly, and it just wasn't really for me. I kind of later on, I've tried most types of music. Like I did a little bit of rapping. I was in a punk band for quite a while. I was doing bass and lead vocals, kind of wrote most of the stuff. And so I've really been interested in all kinds of music. And then when I went to university, went to Birmingham and really got into drum and bass and dubstep at the time. It was like 2009 time when the drum and bass was really getting big and dubstep was really blowing up. So I was like really into that scene at the time, going to all the nights and DJing a bit with a mate at the time. And again, kind of fell out of it a bit, was still into the music. I definitely kind of started to get more into different types of dance music towards the end of uni. And after that, listened to a lot of kind of garage and some house, and then footwork really became a big interest for me. But I'd kind of stopped being creative for quite a number of years. And it wasn't until I finally got myself together and bought an MP3 controller that I really started getting into DJ again, probably about 5 years ago or so. And so I started getting into that and really enjoying mixing again. And that's when it really started to click. All these times where I tried to push to do something in hip hop or dance music, and whereas I did it a bit and enjoyed it and was getting okay. This was when the kind of my love for DJing really ignited. And at the same time, I started running creating myself a hip hop podcast, mainly hip hop, where I would just kind of play my favorite songs and talk about it, and more like just kind of a radio really. At the same time as I have a blog, like a website called mooklifeuk.com, where I write a lot of articles about hip hop and do kind of end of year roundups with lots of hip hop on there. And gradually I got more into mixing. So my Mixcloud, if you look on there, like the early episodes of my podcast were very much talking about hip hop, playing hip hop, and got more and more mixes to a point now where it's just for the last 2 years or so, it's been just a lot of drum and bass mixes, dubstep, and more recently loads of UK funky UK bass, I don't know, just stuff around 130, anything at 160. I absolutely love it. I'd really just love dance music. I like trance. Like pretty much the only stuff I don't like is like electro, swing, and psytrance would probably be like the only dance music that I don't like. Everything else I really, really do love. And then more recently, kind of last year during lockdown, I've got a friend who is quite into production, and he's always been a lot more technical in music than me. Like he was a guitarist in our band, and if anything, I really held him back with my songwriting, because he was an incredible guitarist on a technical level, and I mean, we were both really into like technical metal, like Dillinger Escape Plan and Red Chord and that kind of stuff. But I would just be, plain old kind of simple punk, and he would just rip out crazy riffs whenever he could. And it's kind of a similar thing now that he's very technical with his production, and he knows what to do, whereas I'm very much like Leo. I have no idea what I'm doing when I'm getting the synths out. Like my mate Sam, who I was in the band with, he sent me Reaper and Serum, and I was like, so cool, I'm gonna do a load of like nice synths and play foghorns on the keyboard and stuff. And I got a keyboard, and then I was just like, this is annoying me. Just went to the sample packs, and that's where I like chopping up samples. Like the first track I put together properly was last year. I did a 160 flip of Mr. Happy by DJ Hazard. Anyone that's into drum bass will know that tune. Yeah. And because it'd been in my head for like a year, I'd had in my head how I wanted to flip that into like a footworky tune. And then I got into doing that, and then halfway through the tune was like, right, I'm going to add some breaks, and just went nuts with it. And then kind of took it to my mate Sam, and he was like, right, I was like, can you add some bass under it? Because I don't know. I just, every time I was trying with the synths and adding bass, I don't know, can't get my head around it. So that's kind of where my strength lies. And then I made a UK funky tune, well, kind of UK funky, very percussion driven. Put that out earlier this year with a bit of help from mate Sam again. And then I made this this drum bass tune, Part of Life, for the compilation. Again, because I'm crap at melodies, I was like, just had a nice break to begin with, and then just took the jazz album from last year, I think, called by Shabaka and the Ancestors, I think it's by. So I just found a nice atmospheric part of that with no drums, and just basically played that over the drums for the intro. And then got some nice samples from some Taxman and Regional Sin packs that I had, and a few as a DJ Hybrid and RMS packs of breaks and stuff, and put it all together. And I was just happy with how it came out. Just keeping it simple, just kind of balls to the wall, jump up with a nice jungly feel, and that jazzy intro, keeping it a little bit different, really. Going forward, I'm just really pushing my DJing. So that's really where my enjoyment comes from. But I'm sure I'll get inspired again. I am currently working on another thing I'd had in my head for a while. Was making like a 160 jungle bootleg of Nancy Sinatra's Boots Are Made for Walking. For some reason, like the intro, the bass line on that, I was like, that could be some jungle. So that will be the next thing that comes to me at some point. I've got the intro sorted, and then I got a bit annoyed with it, as I usually do with production. So it's kind of just sitting away for a while. And I was really happy to be contacted by Noizy to have a guest mix. That was my first guest mix last week, I think. So really hyped on that. Really happy to be involved. Even better that this drum bass tune I've kind of thrown together has been included on the compilation. So super excited about that. And I've got a few guest mix in the works, a few more people interested. I think Hugo down in Bristol, I think he's got my guest mix coming up with some kind of 130, lots of UK funky, a little bit of breaks, some there's interesting tunes kind of thrown in there. So just getting excited for that. And hopefully maybe put on a night next year. I did have a night booked that I was putting on myself back in Hull last year, and then obviously COVID hit, everything got cancelled, so it's just been kind of get myself together and yeah, hopefully get something organized. But as I'm sure you're all aware, it's difficult to book stuff at the moment and get things organized. So yeah, fingers crossed in the new year I'll get to DJ out for the first time, which is kind of a bit of a dream of mine. Even if I only do it once or twice, I really would love to be in a club and yeah, play my tunes to people live. So
well, dude, just on that, before you jump in, Noizy, I've just secured a residency here in London. Every Saturday night, it is commercial tech house and R&B. So just putting that out there right now. But the goal is to morph into more of a forward-thinking bass music scene and, yeah, you know, clientele at the club every Saturday for about 6 hours. So long-term, my dream is to have that as a place where people from the label and elsewhere can come and play, and, you know, it becomes a bit of, I want to try and create a bit of a scene there. So yeah, would love to have you down and play once I've managed to sway them.
Well, there are plenty of great bootlegs and reworks R&B tunes out there. That's how you start to bring it in. Just give them a nice little bit of mellow footwork with some R&B vocals, and you'll be on your way.
And definitely, if you need any of these R&B flips in the style of UK and funky, our guy Ali right here in the chat is the guy to ask for. You know, that guy.
Robbie, one funny thing, one thing that you'll find funny. So I went to Union Hall.
Oh yeah.
Your ends of the neck. I've played at Willie, Function, Attic, King's
sick.
just opened.
Yeah.
That's literally where I learned like how to mix and like how to play out. And it was an interesting to hear that you were going to set up an event. I'm like quite involved with the university society still there.
Oh,
so
sick.
I'm so friends. I'm gonna be playing in January. If any time like we could potentially do something together. I did run an imprint there as well. So that could potentially be a great thing. Yeah,
I was planning to put something on at Adelphi, because Adelphi is just cheap as hell to rent out.
That's where we had our first event, because it's like £50 for the night. The only issue is it closes at 12. That's the only issue, but like everything else is incredible.
I don't want to stay up.
Yeah.
I don't want to stay up late. Club nights finishing at 12 is like banging for me. I don't want to go out at 11 or 12 o'clock. Like, it's too much, especially if I'm DJing. I'm going to be asleep by that time. So yeah, I think it's great Adelphi closes at 12.
Incredible sound system at Adelphi as well. Incredible sound system.
Definitely, yeah.
I see. But I just want to tell you before we continue, first of all, thank you, Robbie the Mook, for your introduction and a really great stories about your background. The guy that I just introduced to all of our viewers is Ali. A really great fella that helped me out before the birth of Nu Kvlture. I was, approaching his takeover SoundCloud page to ask for a guest mix duty so I can promote Nu Kvlture Volume 1. And he was cool enough, to get me on board as well and hook me up with Interpolate Records for a guest mix there as well. Since I met him, I got inspired a lot by the sounds of UK funky and other hybrid music that's invading UK at the moment. So I will pass it now to Ali to just tell us his short introduction, how he got to music, what are his goals regarding DJing and maybe producing it.
Well, so basically, in 2017, I joined the Uni of Hull. And my original plan was to I had a YouTube channel where I used to do like random YouTube videos about stuff. But like when I joined uni the first week at the University Freshers Fair, I came across Crystal Clear, which is the university's like mixing and like they labeled it as the Music Appreciation Society. And I was massively into like EDM, like Axwell, Armin van Buuren, Tiesto, all that stuff. That's all I listened to before. But like when I joined there, I was like, this is a whole new world of music, which I never knew existed. And I slowly learned how to mix. I used to have a PS4. My older brother used to mix, and he had a Numark Mix-Track Quad controller. I never played on the PlayStation. He never mixed, so we just swapped. And now he's on the PlayStation all the time. I mix literally, and for the first like 1.5 years of uni, I spent literally 3 to 4 hours every day, like without fail, just mixing, trying to practice like different things, and like slowly progress on that. And one of my good friends, Matt Warwick, he's called, who's like making moves in London right now. He's on Aja Radio, he's on Run the Rhythm, he's on a lot of different stations. He was very kind enough to let me play his first event, which was, he called it Takeover at the time, which me and another friend of mine then continued when he finished uni. And it was a UK funky night, and that was the first genre I remember like just listening to and loving. And I played a house party a week after I was practicing how to mix. I played at a house party, and mixed a track that was like 80 BPM into some like 140. No actual bending, nothing. I just moved the volume sliders in and out, and in my head I was like, I've just done incredible. But like it was literally nothing. But just the feeling of that made me like love it so much that like I wanted to like do so much better. And like simple things like mixing a track every 8 bars and like things like that, I learned like a year after, just from trial and error. But like slowly and surely, like I like keep every like 2 or 3 months I came across a new genre, and like that made me like love something. Recently, all I've been like listening to is speed garage and like anything 160. One of a tune by Arhana. It's called London Sound. It's an incredible tune. Over Enthusiastic Hardcore by The Boy. That's an incredible tune as well. That's like one of my favorite 160 tunes. And just 1 or 2 songs that like introduced me to all these other genres that like made me like just want to mix all the time. And like I still like at least 3-4 times a week I just try and mix for like an hour or 2 at least every day. And getting into producing, me being a student, I bought Ableton because it was half price. It was like you can get it at 60% of the price. I was like, why not just get it now? But like I've slowly been producing, making like, I've made like the first like the intro of like a couple of tunes. I've made like what a good drop would be, but just like very, very fresh into producing, like no clue what like I'm doing still, but like slowly getting into it. And just yeah. We were heavy on it over lockdown. We used to run it. We used to have like, we were like, I'd say one of the early imprints who did like live streams and things like that, just having like 4-hour sets on a Friday or something. And we ran this guest mix series where we had about like 20 to 30 people, I think, who just featured on it. But like we haven't been on top of it recently. It's just I ran it with another friend of mine, and then the original guy, Matt Warwick, Stage, who ran it. But like just with everything going on in life, we haven't been on top of it. But like I is still an imprint. We've ran 2 events on that. We've featured on other people's events as Takeover, but we haven't really been up to date on it. Not quite sure what we're gonna do with that yet, but that is something that's still there.
That's pretty nice, and also really cool to finally hear the parts of your background. We've been talking for, almost a year now, and I knew some of the details, but it's pretty cool that you mentioned over enthusiastic hardcore, a tune of mine. That was pretty shit, honestly, and I just uploaded it because, yeah, here we go. And
I'm not gonna lie, to this day, it's like I probably top 3 like 160 tunes I've like ever heard.
Fuck yeah, thank you so much, man. And also what I want to mention, I'm really looking forward for your production in the future. You know who to call about the releases.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Compilation number 3, we can get you on. But
for
now,
sure.
As we are speaking about the compilation number 2, I want you guys to introduce you the next fella. He's definitely the hardest working man on the Balkan scene regarding bass and everything. He runs a B&B radio show that's dedicated to drum and bass. But most recently, since we started, collabing, you can hear a lot of footwork, you can hear a lot of dubstep, two-step garage and stuff like that. And on this compilation, this will be his first release as well. He will have an exclusive remix in the style of speed garage. So please welcome Dragan the FrenkyBoy.
Hey, everybody. How did I switch to my thing? Is that click or what?
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyways, my name is Dragan Fran Crlic. I go by DJ FrenkyBoy. I'm from Croatia, Zagreb, but I currently live on the island of Brač. I'm one of those blue collar kids gone wrong, if you ask my mom. I was sent to music school at the early age only to be taught music because I was expected to be either a lawyer or a doctor or something, but to know that those things, as you would read in all the Renaissance novels, do you smoke, sir? Yes. Oh, well, man should have something to do with his free time, that kind of thing, So I'm an educated pianist. I used to sing in a rock band that was heavily into rock and roll, long hair, leather jackets, still wear leather jackets, got a haircut. I used to sing in a choir called Zagrebski Šaci, and I actually quit when national television stuck a camera in my face and told me I was lip syncing. When I proved them wrong, and that disappointed their face kind of turned me away from that. Considering music, I was always in kind of rock and roll, but about year 2010, 2011, so almost over 10 years ago, I started to go around, going away a bit from rock, because at that time we got a contract from a major label in Croatia called Croatia Records. When they told us what we had to do to make it, let's put a quotation marks on the make it, which was change the name in a Croatian name. And I was writing and singing in English in a way that, as you may hear, usually people do not believe I'm not either lived in America or US or England or somewhere. This is just how I speak foreign languages. So basically found English easier to write on, and I told them no, because it was an emerging time of YouTube, SoundCloud, and all the platforms. And I was urging my band to start doing something other than classic rock, to put some punk into it, to put some new metal into it. And by the words of my guitarist, and not my guitarist, but the guitarist that played with us, said, that's easy, that's 3 chords. And I just told him, well, here's minor threat. Play those 3 chords, motherfucker. He said no, I went out. Years later, as I said, 2010, 2011, I think, was the year that I joined the CSET. It's almost 40 years plus old student association in Zagreb, Croatia. It's basically an old boiler room of a faculty of electrotechnics. And there I spent about 5 or so years rinsing out, R&B, hip hop, rock, just doing this thing called Set Cafe, which is basically playing the trashiest music with the most popular music. And not to toot my own horn, but I was kind of heavily pushing into playing all those, Get Rihanna hits, because I kind of knew what they wanted. And on the other hand, I would match that up with body count. So I would do like a Madonna erotica 80s hit, and after that I would slam onto it 99 Problems by Body Count, the rock version, and everybody would just keep on dancing. So I said, like, fuck it. And at the time I was actually looking for something to play other than all those things, and everybody was in the house, and techno just sometimes gives me headache. I just, when I hear those bells hitting, I just gotta go out. And it kind of I started looking through my CDs and realized I actually bought a drum bass CD like 5 years prior to that shit. It was Easy Rollers, Titles of the Unexpected. And I also found among my sister's CDs stashed somewhere Logical Progressions Volume 2, which Carmeleon's second track on the release, with a sample from, I think it's Matthew Broderick from the, 80s cult movie. Anyways, it hooked me that there's like this kind of music that's energetic yet keeps me calm. When everybody asks me play something chill, like nice, so we can hear what you're listening to. I rinse them like some of that old so-called IDM, the liquid bass sound, the jazzy. They're like, this is fast. Like, no, not to me. So eventually I started mixing it with a couple of buddies from Cassette. We started a program called BPM, which was kind of my kind of shortened name for, not for beats per minute, but bass per minute. Like it was sounded fun. After that, I just kind of stopped doing everything. I went out of Cassette. I didn't have a falling out with the guys, but we all had different visions of what we wanted to do. One of them wanted to do strictly this kind of music. The other one was always telling me what kind of music should I or should I not play, which is too popular or not. And since I am heavily into pop music, I love myself a good mainstream track, because you can have formulaic pop or you can have an actual pop song. Like, let's be honest, Nirvana's 91 Nevermind is a pure pop album when you look at it, because it's popular. That's it. It is grunge. It is CL New Wave, but it's pop in its essence, and it's not formulaic, and that's what people got it hooked. And I'm always hooked to that kind of sound. So by the time Pozitivna Ritam, the guys who organized and started actually the festival scene in Croatia, they're the Croatian side of Outlook Festival. Sea Splash Festival is their own first festival, which is now kind of 19 or 20, almost 20 years. I think this is the 20th edition. They started this little club / record store / their own offices. And I asked, could I do a party there? Because I realized nobody's going to call me to play the parties. The old heads always told you got to be cold. And at that time, I was just like trying to mix a bit better, trying to get myself more, not educated, but more practice. Muscle memory is my thing. When I know where everything is, my brain just starts going. My hands just go independently out of the body. So I can dance at the same time and play. So I started this thing called Bass Couture, which was the idea that drum and bass isn't just a strictly underground kind of type of music. It can be mainstream. It can be streamlined, but you don't have to go too far, which like artists like Dimension is quite a prolific showing of it. You can do all those singing melodic bass lines and still have that grittiness and darkness of the underworld of drum and bass. And that's why Bass Couture. So I had to have bass in the title and couture, which I took from the French saying of haute couture. Well, I'm saying this right, Leo, I'm not sure. Which, as I got to understand, means fashion in a way.
I honestly thought that you took it from like Juicy Couture. That was really popular
No.
brand in the 2000s.
I want it to be like it's bass, but it's like it could be fashionable. You could have the pretty lights. It's all like blue and purple are always lights, as you can see. It had to be. As if one of people I know who's a manager and booking agent for a lot of bands, he told me, like, first thing you need to know that you can't have a huge ass title. Like, people will have to say, have you been to Bass Couture or BC? So I'm fan of 2 words names. That's why FrenkyBoy, because like DJ FrenkyBoy kind of rolls off the tongue. Well, at least for me. And so that's why I started that. And we started booking I focused on the unknowns. We got Thursdays in the little club, which can barely fit 100 people. But we started to get visitors. We did the older ways of just getting a banner from this website, a portal for electronic culture called Klubska Scena, which I tend to write for from time to time. Well, actually, one of the rare people that writes about it. For like last 4 years, and got involved with electronic awards in Croatia, which they run, which I'm always in the background trying to check if somebody's stepping on somebody's toes, because my idea is I'm an idealist in a way, trying to get everybody. I love everybody. I want everybody to try to get along, even if they can't. Let's put it that way. So that's why we started Bass Couture, and a couple of years later. Actually like 2.5 years ago, acquaintance of mine named Leo Heckman. He's a DJ degree, funky DJ. He does a lot of different music. He works on Radio 808 in Croatia, and he told me like fuck it, like just try it. And that time I was already playing, did about two and something years on Distinct FM in Birmingham. When they started back up, did about 3 years on UGC, Underground Connection, as a stream. And at this point I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, I was keen on making radio shows, but was keen more of on a production side, let's I didn't have the feeling of being you may find this the same, Kieran. Like the first time you get on that radio, it feels weird, man. You're talking basically to the wall, and you expect to get some kind of reaction from people in any kind of way, and it's daunting. It's weird, man. It's like I felt more relaxed first time I got on stage, played the piano for our parents in Suez. They would just like clap after you would do your shit. And then you would playing on basically my mixing career, so to say, if I have to call it career. It was.
But I just have to ask you one question. Speaking of all of this, because you have such a huge background, and I believe that we can dedicate another episode, to it.
Yeah, sure.
So many details. But I want to ask you, because here it's mostly focused on the, short introduction and a background about the track. Since this is your first production that will be like out there, can you tell me a little bit about what inspired you to make the particular tune and your relationship with Kazuki and that really funky?
Yeah. So let's to cut to the chase through all the histories and memories. First of all, yeah, I basically started doing this track because I was at one point about maybe a week or so ago, before you actually just told me, like, have you made any production? I told myself, like, fuck it. I got all this kind of gear and software. I work in Ableton. I was tinkering before, and I said, like, fuck it. You know what? I just got to go watch some tutorials, see what I can do. And I found a stranger. He had this tutorial about UKG or something, and one of the chords kind of spoke to me, so I started messing up with those chords. And well, to cut out the story, after I sent it to you, the first thing you hooked me up with Kazuki, which is send me 2 tracks by C Flat. He's a part of that duo, and that tracks were just freaking amazing, man. It was like 180 liquid. Like, who does that shit? Like, that was. So I think you gave him, or no, I gave him. You told me, like, let's see if he can do like a remix. I gave him the tracks, the stems. Well, if they were to be called stems at that point, and I think he actually finished the track before me. So he found this little sample of the female/male vocal. I kind of just dumped it into my project and then started working on. And about a month ago, I just sat down and said, like, fuck it. For 3 weeks, I was straight at it, day and night. My dog hated me. I lost 3 kilos in weight. I was completely stressed out from other things, so I just focused on that. And it kind of went from chord that I liked to doing some kind of a bass line and something around it, because I don't mess with samples that much. I mostly work directly in Ableton with MIDIs. I just write chords. Even though my like music theory is not as it used to be, I just like naturally do it. I kind of remember it, as I said, muscle memory. But if you all guys need a bit of a lessons on that, no problem. Just hit me up. Yeah, because like I can still show you how and why. I mean, I got back on the music theory in ways, but as to say, Kazuki did that great remix, which I was fascinated that it's gonna be, in the end, it is gonna be completely 2 different tracks in a way. But I took that part of that sample from the vocals. I always got to have a little bit of saying or something kind of announces things. And I started messing with it, which like 3 bass lines, a sub bass line. Low end was a big problem, and realizing that it has to be mastered and all that. So it wasn't kind of a direct inspiration for it. I just I tend to use, when I write some kind of piece of music, I tend to write what writers call free writing method, which is basically just stab the chords on a keyboard, or they would just type words out, and at one point the words just come out. it started making sense in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
makes sense, definitely.
Yeah,
And I can see, by your background and everything, why you clicked with Kazuki as well, because he is a professional pianist, so jazz pianist. So
yeah.
everything's in
I actually
some
found out
way
that much later.
much,
And
much
I was
later.
fascinated, and yeah, as I said, made perfect sense.
It
Kind
was
of.
the same. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
the same.
it also made sense for me when I realized that a lot of liquid producers that I listen to are basically either jazz background or piano background. I mean, when they told me as a kid, like piano is one of the like really good basic instruments. You got two ways to write. You got a left, right hand. I was like, yeah, you're all bullshitting me. Now I'm like,
But yeah, it all makes sense now to me,
yeah, and
because
plus,
I was following,
yeah,
different
I actually
shows.
never. The funny thing is, I never wrote one drum line until I realized how to play it by hand on the drums. Like I first had to understand how to play drum and bass on drums. Which leg goes when, because I know how to play drums. I'm not a really proficient at it. I just know how to play them. So I was sitting in this with my friends, like a room, and they were talking about shit. I was like, how the hell, because I know how to play funky beat. I knew how to play three-step. I could actually play the Smoke and Water intro, which was quite easy to learn, since my friend just told me, like, you just let the stick bounce back off. Like, really? Yeah, is that easy? But yeah, I also play drums, as I said, a bit. I used to be a vocalist, so I combine all that jibber jabber in my head and just kind of try to
I
play
just want
anything that sounds good.
to tell one thing, it seems like we all had some, background in the bands. First up was Robbie, that was me, now Dragan, and also our boy Kiran here, believe it or not. He
I can see
had
him in hardcore band.
a really great band from Australia about death metal and all this nasty stuff. So I
Yeah.
would definitely like to hear now a little bit about that and how you made the first demo before sending it my way.
Honestly, I'm so new to the production game. It's ridiculous. It's absurd how new I am. The whole reason that me and Alexander met each other is because I run a radio show every Saturday on Mixcloud, and I put it up on SoundCloud with the full track listing, and I tag everyone that I possibly can from it. And he found it because he's so prolific in searching for people playing Nu Kvlture music that he reached out to me and said, "Hey, what's up? Thanks for playing the track." And I've recently started a podcast/YouTube channel where I'm interviewing people about music production, because I've put off doing my own productions for the last 12 years that I've been DJing. I've just had mental blocks and just found reasons not to try. So I started this podcast because of my background in broadcasting, to learn from people that are doing it well. And I've invested in the Ableton Push 2 controller to get into Ableton. And honestly, this is how the track came about. I messed around with it. I came up with some sounds, and I just kind of got sidetracked and looked elsewhere and went on with life. And then me and Alexander, we were having a chat via Facebook. We had a Facebook chat, and he was just saying, just produce, man, get back to it, get into it, do more. What I love about you so much, dude, is that you're so encouraging and inclusive of people. Like, you just tell people, like, you're just like, no, man, whatever you've got, like, let's do it. Just keep going, man. And you're very encouraging. And I was just like, well, hey, man, why don't I send you what I've made so far? And it was like 8-bar loops that I'd made, or even less. And I just sent you the whole, because I put everything on Dropbox, I just sent you the link to my Dropbox session. And you go, bro, I'm so excited to work on this and make something of this. And by the end of that day, you fucking sent back version 1 of like a collaboration track between
in 1 hour.
It was an hour, dude. Like, and you'd come back with something, and you'd turn some little melodic riff that I'd made, you'd made it into a whole tune, and you've refined it now. And now that's the track that's now featured on the compilation, which is unbelievably gangster, that I've been so so new into my production journey, and I've got a track coming out on the Nu Kvlture compilation. It's an unbelievable feeling, and I couldn't be more thankful for it. That's how the track came about. I'm not skilled up. It's a collaboration, and hopefully people like it.
Just to tell you one thing, I think that track slaps. You know, the original and also what I did later, the combination of it. I was, revisiting Bioshock game,
Yep.
that I never played the remaster of it. And so I used the sample of that for the intro, like in the old dubstep
Yeah, I heard
records,
it somewhere.
Jack Sparrow, playing old jazz bands, no, and then the bass comes on. So yeah, I took the inspiration for that, but also when Kieran sent me the demo, who was like 90 BPM or stuff like that, it reminded me of some combination of Massive Attack, and also it had some drums who were like boom tak boom tak. Oh no! Oh my God! It's Korn. So no, it was definitely something more in the style of the 90s, that like chill out music and stuff like that. And the vocal line, yay, and I took all the MIDI notes Kieran made and just add to my serum filters, blah blah blah. We had a talk, like 10-minute talk before I got into Ableton to ask him, about his background inspirations. And he told me that he basically came to UK because of the dubstep. So I took that information and tried to, made a tune out of it. So that's how it worked.
Yeah, man, it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling, dude, to have a track coming out, and I couldn't be more thankful, dude. So what there's a lot of other artists on this compilation. When's first of all, when's it out? When can people pick it up?
January 2nd, second day of the new year. It will be out on Bandcamp, SoundCloud mostly, but if we have some people who prefer streaming service, they can check them out as well. But Bandcamp is the place to grab it. So January 2nd, there will be around 45 artists or something like that. So I lost a track. Many premieres are coming out at the moment, so you can check that out. And yeah, if you want, Kieran, I can give just a short, talk about the tracks that I have out, just
Please.
like a couple of words. First tune that you will hear on the compilation from me is called Grizzlies. I was heavily into 3-6 Mafia, funk, and breakbeat this year, so I tried to merge that and make a tune, that has that ghetto flavor and also, that you can dance to. Second tune that was premiered on the Internet Ghetto just a few days ago, Strands, was made as a joke, but that's another story to tell. And it was definitely the influence of Mole Grab, because I really like that guy, super talented, techno house producer from Australia. And I wanted to make it faster, to see how I can, play tunes like that in the mixes. Next tune is my collaboration with Kazuki, aka Singularnos, a sensitive garage, future garage that you can play in a club. Basically, the inspiration for that was Over Mono's latest release with Baby. I mean, when I heard that, I was like, whoa, like I have to, do a shameless copycat of it, with my own twist. So I found some really cool samples and wrote a bass line, stuff like that. And the last tune is my collaboration with your boy legend, Hillmore Radio. So yeah.
That's unbelievable, dude. So many good artists. And one thing that I want to call out, it's not a complete sausage fest. There are women featured on the compilation as well, right? Like the call for this interview was put out in the Nu Kvlture group, and these are the people that responded. But there, it's not just male dominated, isn't it?
It's not just male dominated. Definitely, you have a interview coming up with one of the girls from the compilation, Melido, okay, mate. So Melido, and we have Vela Luna from I believe it's Los Angeles or San Francisco. I forgot. Super talented footwork producer and also radio host. Please, Anna, I'm sorry if I mispronounced this, but it was BMM radio station, stuff like that. So she played like 20 tracks from the compilation this Wednesday. So yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Amazing stuff. Listen, I want to try and wrap this up now. Is there any final parting words people want to say before we sign this off? Because we don't want to make it too long, but it's been a really good time, guys. Anybody got any last parting words they want to say?
Thanks for pushing us, man. Same thing as you, Kieran. He just pushed me because he told me, like, make a track, fuck it, make a track, fuck it, make a track, fuck it. Like, oh, right. Or I was embarrassed to send it. Like a week before I had to send it, I went like, fuck it, I gotta synthesize my own bass. I was heavily thinking he's gonna send the mail with a fucking bomb in it. Like, fuck you doing that shit.
But yeah, to wrap it up, what I want to tell, what Dragon told as well, I was harsh with some of the guys, trying to motivate them. They send me all the info, like the snare isn't on the decibel, this and stuff like that. Some things that I didn't understand. I mean, I'm a total, I forgot, Chad. That's why I wear a hat all the time. I'm not bald. I mean, I'm wearing a hat because I'm a Chad, So just do it. I love Nike. What can I say? Just do it, You'll learn everything on the way. So
yeah.
Cool.
You made me change the drums, man.
Cool.
Love you.
Guys,
yeah,
it's been a bloody pleasure speaking with you all. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go check out the new Nu Kvlture compilation coming out 2nd of January 2022. 22222. All the links to all these guys, SoundClouds, Bandcamps, etc., are going to be down in the description below. It's been a pleasure, boys. Speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy.
Hello, legend. Thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. If you'd like that, I got a ton more of these interviews being uploaded constantly on the YouTube page. And I do a weekly mix on Mixcloud every Saturday. So if you can subscribe, like, comment, that helps out loads with the algorithm. And if you follow me everywhere and you like the sound of what's going on here, let me know. I'm always open to hearing from people. This is very new. I'm figuring it out as I go along. But yeah, there's tons more. Check out the other interviews. Follow me. Listen. Jump onto the live stream. Say hi. I'm a friendly dude, and I really appreciate you watching. So thank you so much. You're a fucking legend. Love ya. Peace. Bye.